Alright, we're back with some Russian front updates. And wanted to fill you in on a few things. Number one is his partisans. Now, he has two available partisans, but those things are what messes with my rail lines and my rail movement capacity. But I guess so far I haven't really used much rail capacity, and he hasn't used any partisans. So my rail capacity has not been diminished because he is holding on to his partisans. Another thing here is my replacement phase. You can see there I get 7, 8, 9 replacement factors, none for the fins, and 2 for my other allies. So I'll be using those here coming on up. Other things to update you on, I believe that is it. Like I said, my rail reduction is at 0. What else? My main objective, I guess, is to get these guys back in supply, and what that'll do is that'll involve these infantry units. Our armor, I got to check that out. That, like I said, that rule of safety armor. I guess anybody can replace or can convert rail units by using movement factors. So we'll see how that works. But here's a little update. I'm gonna do a few videos before I upload this one to YouTube. But there's a situation. Oh, another thing is my opponent said that he did. Here's what his original move was. Was here. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. But he says when he moved here, and that just did. I must have missed it. But he says I'll go back and look. But he looked, and when he moved here, he sent me a vlog that had reaction with a question mark. And I guess I didn't. I opened the vlog and went ahead and used it without reacting. But yeah, when he would have moved here, I would have got him with the reaction move with a reaction movement because he moved from this zone of control. It would have been this unit that could have attacked. If he moved here to here, that is moving from one zone of control of this unit to another zone of control of this unit. And in this game, Russian front, that the non-phasing player can call or can initiate what's called a reaction movement, and then it would have been in battle here. Now he would have been attacking me because he's still the initiative player with a 5. Versus my 3, so it would have been a +2. So he might have been fine, and the attack would have went on. But after that, he couldn't have moved no more because this is an armor unit. But if he had an armor unit, he could have did an exploitation phase and moved down in here. But he said he's going to go ahead and sit here. He's not going to go ahead and move. So we won't be doing that. Now it's just a correction, and maybe my fault too. But like he said, he got down there by going this way, and when there was no reaction movement from me, he moved here. So moving here would have been made this unit here eligible for reaction movement. Then he moved out of this unit's zone of control if he would have moved here. And if he moved here to here, then this unit would have had a reaction. But he moved from here, causing a reaction from here, and then moved to here. But when he said I didn't react, he went ahead and moved on down there. So that is the tale of the false capture of... And what is that? I keep on calling it Vytbrisk or something like that. Who knows my Russian? But yeah, if anybody knows the real pronunciation of that one, I hate butchering all these. But anyway, we'll be back. All right, hello everybody. It is happy days here in St. Louis, the Arch City. We have been partying hardy. I think everybody might be calming down a little bit later. It's about a few days after the party we had Saturday. And I don't know, there's some reports of Brett Hall still stumbling down Highway 94, mumbling Gloria. But other than that, the rest of the team, or the main team's in Vegas getting ready for the hockey awards. So that'll be nice to see. But yeah, they went straight from the party in St. Louis on to Vegas. And I'm telling you what, them guys are professional hockey players and professional drinkers. There's been tales of people trying to keep up with the players, and after the first or second day, near-death experiences. Well, let's continue. We are here with some Russian front, and it is the month of November. And the only bad zone we got here is the Arctic zone, and that'll be wet for any movements. Fortunately, though, I haven't made any movements. I'm going to keep my forces there. If I move anybody here, it'll cause a response movement. I'm just on the defensive. Let them try pushing on in. I got a little bit of an air unit here. I'm not worried about any marine landings yet. I can look and see about that here in a little bit. But other than that, we got our combats going. We'll start down south here. And I'm going to make a push for that replacement factor oil field. See if I can't get in there with a little bit of help with some air cover. And then we're making ourselves a push on down here. Mostly to solidify the front. I think his offensive is over. And it's now time for me to counterattack out to see how he does on reinforcements. His reinforcements are going to start coming in, and I'm pretty much, this is what I got. Keeping it careful, being careful not to eliminate any of my forces. Just once I get a couple hits, pull them back, because like I said, these are all the forces I got. Replacements are few and far between, as you've seen on the last video, but here's some more pushes I'm making. And on almost all these attacks here, I was able to assign air units. So all these have got, all these are important attacks, and I got all my air cover. Now, starting next month, my air units are withdrawn from the front for something else, some other spots. But you can see here, my supply line is up to here. Supply line's up to here. I've built up my supplies, or my railroad line rather. I've converted railroad hexes all the way up to here, up to here. Now here it's converted, come down through here, and it stops here. And it also stops here. So I got my pointers getting in the way of my focus. These two hexes have yet to be converted, and then when they get converted, this line will be running all the way up to here and up to here. So my supply lines or my railroad conversions are coming around nicely. I got a few units here to keep this guy occupied. But other than that, that is a situation on the front. No real battles going on up there. This is a position, or the view of the battle board. You can see we got a couple, or almost all my air units are being contested. So he's sending some air forces up to contest my close air support. Things are still interesting on the Russian front. Having fun. And we'll be back. All right, we are post-combat. Axis turn, November 1941. Closing out the 41 year, and this is the extent of it. Like I said, or as you've seen in the previous videos, I am losing the game. It was a decisive Soviet victory up to this point. So let's see what's going on. Down here, it was a pretty good die roll. Pretty good die rolls for me all around. So the good die rolls equal good results in battles. This one here, I've drove him back, and I now am in possession of the oil field. I'll be repositioning that air unit when it comes time for the repositioning phase. So there was a victory down there. Up here, I've definitely solidified my lines. You can see that the Russians are in a little bit of a retreat. There's not much there. I mean, they got numbers, but the numbers don't mean nothing. It's easy to slice through them. You just get a couple of there was no air support or anything in these attacks, but I still had some good die rolls, and we're successful. And he's getting not surrounded, but I'm solidifying my front lines. That's for sure. I could definitely be using these infantry though over here. And over here you can see down there my little push. I'm coming up around here to get this thing out of the way. Coming down here, these air units are above all my victory panzers. I kept them with my panzers when they advanced. So where you see my air units are where my panzers are, but his air units didn't do anything. All he did throwing those air units in there was suffering them one hit of losses. Now he'll be able to replace them, but they're at 2 factors apiece. Kind of expensive, but yeah, he got a couple shots on him and bailed out on all the attacks. So I had free air superiority on my attacks, and this was the result. You can see how I'm coming on down here. Now here, I got an exploitation phase coming, and I'm thinking about capturing Kiev, although it will definitely stretch my supply lines. So I don't know that. And in some of these spots, I'm really precarious. You got to see that there are no units underneath these air units, so they'll be retreated back to their bases. But yeah, it's getting a little bit iffy. You kind of want to get a nice little wall, keep him from going back and doing what he did with Vitobisk or whatever. But I think we got him pretty well locked down to where if he moves, I'll be able to make a response movement. Is what it's called. I call it reaction movement, response reactions, but response movement is what the official name is of the game. But there you go. Now up here, I was also able to, on this attack here, I eliminated his unit. I had a real good die roll. But when you combine air cover or air support with those panzers, even in the cities, they're almost unstoppable. Here again, he took his little, you can see his green marker underneath there, so signifying he took one hit and retreated. And I was able to capture the city. Now, if you check victory conditions, I got a few more major cities under my belt. It might be turning my way, but these out of supply markers will hopefully be removed. I think they'll be removed. If not, then these panzers are going to be eliminated. I don't think that'll happen. I wouldn't take a chance on that. So nearest supply points there, and I think they're all well within range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, and so on and so forth. So I push out west, and you can see here where I'm kind of coming on down here. And if I can get these guys to come on down here, that's my plan. My push eastward was pretty well successful, I think. I don't know what's going to go on up north. I'm going to have to keep an eye on that. I do have some, sorry about that. I do have some units ready to go, and I might siphon some off this way, but that is the look at it. My armor, we'll have a chance to do some exploitations, and I'll have to strategically find out what I need to do on those. So far, like I said, his units are all these little chump changer infantry dummies. They're just thrown in there as human waves, and as a result, most of their combat phases, they take casualties. These are their casualties. I suffered none, but that will change when they get these nice little shock troops coming on in, and that's going to happen here pretty soon. Now the thing of it is, that's another thing, I got the cities, so they're delayed one turn. Yeehaw! So make a blitz, cover up their little entering spots. They'll come around somewhere else, but that's up to him. Things are about to get really tight here on the Russian front. We will see what happens. This is the extent of it. I was able to get almost to the edge of the board, a little bit down south here, but I'm getting thin. Few and far between. My battles got to be tactical now, strategic. We'll see what happens. I'll be back. Might call this an upload.